Today we went out to our local EAA chapter's pancake and sausage breakfast fly-in at McKinney Airport in McKinney, Texas. This is always a fun event that's held every first Saturday of the month. Most times it's coffee and donuts, but now and then they break out the big griddle and cook up a mess of pancakes. This once-a-month event is a great way to attract new members and has seen continuous growth in attendance over the past several years. Today's event brought in over 125 people, some people flying in and others just driving. The venue is quite simple: food, fellowship, along with aviation stories, some of which are kind of true. While I was there, I spotted a bright yellow and red aircraft and just had to go over and check it out. Here, Tom Farrow tells us all about this beautiful airplane.
Good morning. We're standing in front of a Stinson SR-10J. It's a 1938 model. The airplane was purchased initially by Shell Oil Company in 1938, and Jimmy Doolittle, the real story here is Jimmy Doolittle worked for Shell. And Jimmy went and picked this airplane up at the factory and brought it back to Shell and flew it corporately for them for 2 years before he went back into the Army Air Corps. So between 1938 and 1940, we have logbook entries of every flight Jimmy Doolittle made, about 140 of them, who he went with, where he went, how long the flight was. It's pretty cool. It's very historical, and it's a real kick to sit up in that seat and kick the starter and know you're sitting in Jimmy Doolittle's chair. Regarding the airplane, it's powered by a Lycoming 300 horse R680. This old airplane was completely rebuilt between 2000 and 2005 with engine, airframe, whatever. It's been restored back to exactly how it was with the Shell paint scheme, the yellow, the interior, the headliner, the carpet, the Burwood panel, leather seats. It's very original in that regard. Of course, it's all been restored. It's a beautiful airplane to fly. Gullwing Stinsons is kind of the handle that's attached to these, are just classic line, classic airplanes, and it draws a crowd wherever it goes. My son and I own the airplane. We fly it regularly, but not in anything weather-wise or gusty crosswinds or anything. It's not a great crosswind airplane. It's a great big airplane with a great big tail. It has a steerable tail wheel only in the sense that you steer it with the brakes on the front wheel. It's a full swivel tail wheel, so you have to be careful to not get caught in a gusty crosswind with it. But again, it's a delight to fly. It flies about 120 miles an hour, burns about 14 gallons of gas, holds 6.5 gallons of oil, and uses a fair amount of that. About a 4-hour leg will put in about 1.5 gallons of oil. So it's limited more by oil than it is by fuel in that regard. There's about 18 of these listed on the books in the Federal Registry, of which we know of about 4 or 5 that are flying. Now you'll see some Gullwing Stinsons, but they're usually the straight cowl, vaulty war version, the V-77s. But as far as the SRs, there's not too many of them flying, and especially the SR-10s. There's several in museums and whatnot. One of the most common questions we get on this airplane is, what are those holes in the side of the fuselage? And of course, unless you're a really old timer, like 1938 vintage, you won't really understand, but these were called flare tubes, and they actually had a little paraflare in it, which was a parachute flare that was fired off electronically with a little rocket motor, and it would come out the side, it would ignite the flare, and it would float down to light up your landing area. If you think about 1938, there weren't big long lighted runways. There were big grass fields in the middle of nowhere. So they would fire these off to be able to see their landing area, circle around and land. And the theory was that the flare would burn out by the time it hit the ground. In reality, you probably had to hurry up and put out the fire. But these flare tubes obviously are not functional today. The FAA wouldn't allow that, but they're all still integrated into the airplane. So that flare tube question comes up, I think, probably the #1 question on this airplane. What are they?